3 years after graduating from college, I decided it was finally time to live on my own. After spending my whole life with my family, I wanted to experience independence. I rented a small apartment inside an old compound in Quezon City. The place wasn't luxurious, but it was quiet, affordable, and close to my office. The compound had two identical houses separated by a narrow pathway. I lived in one. The landlady and her family occupied the other. Most days I kept to myself, but I eventually became friends with the landlady's cheerful 10-year-old son, Ethan. Every afternoon after school, he would knock on my door. "Can we play for a while?" We played board games, drew superheroes, and sometimes just talked about school. He was polite, curious, and always smiling. Soon he became like the younger brother I never had. One afternoon, Ethan looked unusually worried. "My toys keep disappearing," he said. "What do you mean?" "I leave them on my desk, but when I come back, they're gone." I assumed he had simply forgotten where he placed them. "Maybe you moved them." He slowly shook his head. "No." Then he leaned closer. "I know who's taking them." "Who?" "The little boy." I laughed softly. "What little boy?" "The one who lives in your house." My smile faded. "There isn't any child living with me." Ethan stared at me with complete certainty. He hides when adults are around. A few days later, I casually mentioned Ethan's story to his mother. Instead of laughing, her face turned pale. She remained silent for several seconds before quietly asking me to sit down. "There was a family who lived in your house many years ago." She hesitated before continuing. "They had a little boy. According to neighborhood stories, the parents constantly left their son alone while they worked long hours. One rainy evening, the child disappeared. Days later, neighbors noticed a terrible smell coming from the house. The boy had died after becoming trapped inside a small storage room. His parents vanished before authorities could question them. No one ever saw them again. That night, I couldn't stop thinking about the story. Around midnight, I heard tiny footsteps outside my bedroom. Tap, tap, tap. At first I assumed it was a cat. Then came the sound of a bouncing ball. Slow, steady, echoing through the hallway. I opened my bedroom door. Nothing. The hallway was empty, but sitting in the middle of the floor was a small red toy car. I had never seen it before. Over the next week, strange things happened. Kitchen cabinets opened by themselves. Small toys appeared in different rooms. Sometimes I heard quiet laughter coming from the spare bedroom. One evening while taking out the trash, I glanced toward my living room window. A small boy stood inside. He looked about 7 years old. He wore old-fashioned clothes and hugged a stuffed rabbit close to his chest. Thinking Ethan had somehow entered my house, I rushed inside. Every room was empty. The front door had never been opened. The following afternoon, Ethan quietly asked, "Did he visit you?" I froze. "You've seen him too?" He nodded. "He never scares me. He just wants someone to play with." That answer stayed with me for days. Instead of feeling afraid, I felt sorry for him. The landlady invited a priest to bless both houses. Neighbors gathered to pray. Candles flickered as prayers echoed through the compound. When everything ended, the air suddenly became calm. That evening I heard children's laughter one last time. Not frightening, not sad, just happy. Before going to bed, I noticed something on my coffee table. The little red toy car was gone. In its place was a folded paper crane. Written inside was a child's uneven handwriting. "Thank you for being my friend." I never saw the ghost boy again. But whenever children laugh outside my window, I still remember the lonely child who only wanted someone to notice he was there.